Hello and welcome to Beyond the Runway. I'm your host, Aniche Smith, and today we have a special guest in the house, the up-and-coming legend, father, Jamari Blahnik. How are you doing today?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing wonderful. Happy to be here.
That's right. That's right. You look nice. You look nice. I always admired your style. You know, you got your little
thank you.
yellow and your little gray. And all. Well, I think we got the same pants on.
Yeah.
Hello. Holla. High five. I met you, I think it's like 2003?
Three, maybe.
Probably. I remember I first saw you at the Catch. Well, not the Catch, not upstairs, but downstairs at Jules.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you know, you had your little braids going in and stuff, you know. I think we danced, whatever, you know.
Probably.
Like, yeah, probably. I'm like, you know, you little cool cat. We was both new to the scene, you know. And
Gotta be.
all that, yeah. But, you know, after that, I seen you around I seen you around the dancing thing because we both dance, you know, professionally for a living. Yeah,
Boom
hello,
cat.
Boom Cat. And I seen you around, but then I was at home one day and I was watching this movie called Rise. And if y'all don't know about Rise,
Jesus.
yes, Rise is about crump dancing and clown dancing. And if you don't know about that, you can get on YouTube and you can, you know, check it out.
Rise.
Yep, and Google it, and you know, people like Tight Eyes and all that stuff. But anywho, I seen you on the movie and I was like, I know him. And you know, back in the day, you know, that's a big deal. You know, everybody like, you don't know him. I'm like, I do know him. I met him at the club and stuff. So I wanted to know, how did that come about? How did you get that role? Like, how did you get that deal?
I was clown dancing for like a few years, and through that, you know, we had our collective groups where we all just clown dance, and they just started a documentary on my specific clown group.
And what was that called?
Get 'em Up Clowns.
Get 'em Up. Okay. Okay.
The worst name ever. But they did a collaboration where they, Tommy the Clowns, and our clown group did like the documentary. They followed us around, and they pretty much just followed us around and filmed us at all our battles against different clown groups. And so they decided to turn it into a movie. And then after that, once they decided to turn it into a movie, they just started like taking it mainstream, and we were just going everywhere, like all over the world, like New York. We went to Japan and all these other places, and so they just documented that and then turned it all into a big movie.
Yeah, that movie was really, really intense. Like, you can tell, like, these kids, like, they had a passion for it, and I love the art of it. Like, you know, and like, people think that clown dancing and they think that crumping is the same thing. It's a total different thing, okay? And it became like the clowns versus the crumps, and you know, and it was really, really intense. It's like the ballroom scene, you know. It probably ended up being fights and everything. So you got to go there with your P's and your Q's. Okay, so after that, I had seen you in a couple of more videos, but one that stood out was the Black Eyed Peas video.
Hey,
you was showed a lot in that video. I want to know, how did you get that opportunity? Like, how did that come about?
Well, through the Rise thing, they I kind of branched away from the crump dancing because it was just becoming too much with the whole spiritual thing and all of that. It was just too much going on. So I branched off, and my management got me into this really amazing dance agency called Block. And
you was with Block?
I was the first
I'm so
agency
jealous. Oh no, I'm so jealous.
But
wow.
They were awesome. So my first job through Block was Christina Aguilera Dirty. And then from Dirty, I went on a promotional tour with Christina. We did a few things. I did a couple of videos with her.
Can I ask you a question, not to cut you off? Is she a bitch?
No,
like, you know, because I heard she was a bitch. And she had like a bitch to me, but.
She's actually like the sweetest person. Like, when she walked on set, I didn't even know who she was. She walked on one side of me, a little Kim walked on the other side of me, and they start whistling, and I was like, oh shit, that's little Kim. Oh, that's Christina. And like she was just cool. Like, the only thing, she's like really private. Like, when it came to like certain scenes, like she was like, okay, everyone out.
Oh wow, so she like Beyonce.
Yeah, pretty much. But majority, she was real cool. Like, she was a sweetheart. Like, we joked with her while she was dancing and stuff. It was cool. So she's really sweet. I don't think she's a bitch. Maybe now, after the baby and all that other stuff, she may be, but
you know,
she wasn't there.
That woman thing. So after that, so you did the Christina Aguilera thing, so and then moved on, and so go.
After that happened, we moved on, and my management started doing a lot of things with the Black Eyed Peas, and then that's when the whole crump thing started becoming national, when we were doing like the Sprite remix commercials and all this other stuff. So the Black Eyed Peas came to one of our rehearsals, and they would just like pick dancers to do videos, and so we did a few videos with them. Hey Mama.
Hey Mama.
I actually like choreographed for them for the Saturday Night Live, and then after that is when Hey Mama came. So that was when like Hey Mama was like the biggest thing ever. Everybody was on that. So that's kind of really how that started. Like, just they came to one of our rehearsals like you.
Yeah, that was a movement, and I seen you in that video, and like you got your own little shine and stuff, and I'm like, all right, go on ahead. After that, I seen you around. Hi, hello, how you doing? And then I found about the ballroom scene, but you also found out about the ballroom scene.
Around the same
And
time.
I kind of remember you walking a ball. The only thing I kind of remember of you walking the ball in the beginning was at Leimert Park on Halloween. You had a cheerleading outfit on, and you was busting backflips. So I just want to know, how did you find out about the ballroom scene?
At the time, I was kind of like infatuated with this guy. I was infatuated with him, and I hung out with him a lot, and he was a Ferragamo at the time, and they all were hanging out, and I would come over a lot, and me being a dancer, like I would watch them Vogue and be like, you guys look silly.
Crazy.
Like, what is going on? And then he was like, no, come try it. And I, as being a dancer, I picked it up, and it was like really, it started becoming fun, and then it was like, oh, you need to come to a ball, and I was like, what's that? They was like, no, just come to the ball, like, and just come. So I went, I hung out with them for like a few months. He taught me a lot of pretty much everything that I know, and I went to a ball, and that was all she wrote.
That was all she wrote for there. You was going and going and going and going and going. Okay, you was around the Ferragamos, and that's how you got your little, start,
Little taste.
Your little taste of it. So, you joined the ballroom scene, and you obviously joined the house. So, what was your first house?
Yikes. First house.
Just say it, because we all gonna say, well, not my first house.
I mean, it wasn't a yikes. It was actually a dope at that time. It was dope. It was prestige. So
Prestige.
You had Alvernian. So we had all that.
Shout
good
out
stuff.
to Alvernian.
Shout out Grandpa. But yeah, I started off as a prestige. When I first started, it was like a whole family thing for me because I was just coming out. So like my ballroom family was like my family at that point.
Right.
So like as a prestige, we lasted, the LA chapter lasted about a month or two because we ended up going to the prestige ball. We did all this preparation, and on the way back, we were flying back, and apparently our tickets were stunted.
Who has not been through that? We all have.
Yeah, pretty much. So we didn't quite make it back to LA. We had to, to bus it from Vegas at our layover from LA. But shout out to my mom, my other mom, shall I say, Ariel, because she paid for everybody's tickets to get back from Vegas all the way back here. So
One of the sweetest people. One of the sweetest people.
Pumpkin pie.
Yes, she is.
She paid for everybody. And then after that, like, I guess going to the prestige ball, like, that was like my shine. Like, that was when everybody was like, who are you? Where are you from? And then once we got back and all that happened, everybody dispersed. And then we all dispersed, and we all ended up going to Prodigy.
Now, Prodigy, I remember when the Prodigies came out, very exclusive. Can't just walk onto that house, It was a Voguer there, you know who the Voguer was. It was a Face Kid there, you know who the Face Kid was. And and I used to be around the Prodigies all the time and stuff. It was a very, very elite house, and you had a lot of haters, but y'all was coming, and y'all was coming hard. So I want to know, when you got into Prodigy, what motivated you to want to get out there and just be like, look, this is me, you know what I'm saying, I'm Prodigy, what's up?
I have to give props to Cage.
Yeah, Cage came out here and he did do his little thing. Cage came out
here and he was like, you are going here. If I have to pay for your ticket, you're getting there. If you need to go to this date, you need to go to this ball, you need to walk this ball. Come here, let me fix your effect. And it was just like, he was pretty much like, you need to do this. And I was like, okay, well, if you're paying for everything, why not? So I traveled like state to state. I went to DC, I went to Philly, I went to New York. I was going to MD and just going to balls and just walking and just getting my name out there. And my first big ball was in Detroit at the Rodeo Ball.
Wait, hold on. You know, when I talk about these things, you know, you're getting into my soul, because I think I know you're talking about, did you go against Berlin?
I did.
And you had the pink on, the little cat suit, and she had the red, and it was Raven.
That was my first
Yes, it was.
big ball.
All
That was my
right,
first
I was
big
proud
ball
of that.
ever.
I was proud of that. You represented the West Coast
That
very,
was
very
my
well.
first time walking like a big ball. Like, I've traveled and did like go to many functions and do stuff like that, but like my first big ball, that was like, okay, put your big pants on, because you have to walk against these people.
Yeah,
and
Berlin.
these are the people that I looked up to, like Berlin, and I didn't even know who they were at the time. Like, I watched them on YouTube, like, oh yeah, he's
dope. Like,
then I'm battling them. There was like Ninja in Berlin. I was like,
what? Like,
who?
Yes.
Oh, no. I had to do what I had to do.
Right.
Shout
out to Berlin.
Good. Shout out.
Shout out
she
to Berlin.
Come back.
Yeah, well, the last ball she walked, I think the icing was when she went against Pony at the awards ball. That was probably like, no. Yeah, she went against Pony. It was at the awards ball. It was legendary performance.
Which awards ball?
I think it probably was like 2 awards ball ago. She had on, I think, black.
The one before?
I don't know. I know it's probably like 2. I don't want to say 2 years ago.
Oh, she did have on black.
And I think she won.
She did.
She had went in,
yeah,
like she went in, you know, and stuff. And that's what I love about like people like her, because you know she's been in the game so long, and you know you have your fan base, like, you know. But sometimes, you know, when you get to your prime and a new bitch come along, they kind of forget who you are. So that was the night that she was like, look, I'm Berlin, you knew who I am, and that's just the end of it. Okay, so yeah, because you really went hard when you was a Prodigy, you know, and it's like with your career, it just kept on going up and up and up and up and up. So after Prodigy, when Prodigy was over, because obviously that dispersed.
Yeah, that definitely
Where
dispersed.
did you go after that?
After that, I went to Garçon. And
Garçon, which is no shade to the Garçons. I love them, but I have to keep it real. I really didn't feel like that fitted you, because
I didn't fit in there. That's why I left.
The Garçons are, I call them A-listers. And the reason why I call them A-listers is because I feel like A-listers sometimes, they're up here, and you know, their appearance is like that. Like, you know, like they make sure they're on point, they're a good house. I wanted to be part of the house before, but you gotta kind of know them to be in with them, like, you know, and me being a commentator, I know that I kind of had that advantage, but I know that your attitude was nothing like that. You're sweet as pie. So what made you want to go there? Like, what happened with that? How did that come about? I need to know.
Well, it took a long time. Like, they went through like this long, drawn out thing to where they were trying to get me to join the house. And I wanted to join the house at that point in time because it was one of those things. It was the it house. It was a new house. It was. So, of course, it was a proposition for me. So me leaving Prodigy, and there's no Prodigies here, like the majority of them, like Ivani, Corday, who were Prodigies, were
I love them, by
in the house. So it was like, you know, I kind of felt like it was somewhere I still had family. So that was my main reason for going. And then meeting Robert, Michael, of course. He kind of had this talk with me, like, you know, this is where, you know, you need to be. This is something that you need, because you haven't walked in. Because when I left Prodigy, I kind of felt like I was by myself. So it was really, I walked, but I didn't really walk as much as I would have if I was still had that backup. So being there, I kind of felt like I had my family back again. Yeah,
yeah, and you know what? And it was good for you, because, you know, being in Garçon, I know it helped you become more humble to things, you know, and you was around a totally different group of people, which I felt like the Prodigies was kind of like the Garçons a little bit in some way, but they just was like, you knew, like, if the Prodigy didn't fuck with you, you knew it. You know, my best friend was a Prodigy, Antonio, and
our best friend.
Yeah, well, our best friend, and yeah, he had that stare in his eyes, like, if you knew, you know, you know the Garçons, you know, hey, how you doing? Yeah, you know, but it's all good though. I love them for that, you know. I respect them for that. Right. So I want to know what made you want to leave, because you know I think a lot of people want to know that, because it just happened. And nobody really never knew, because you're a private person and you don't speak up on people like that. I want to know what made you want to leave, if you feel comfortable with talking about that.
It was just, it became exactly that. I felt like the things that they represented were not things that I was a part of. I felt like they were becoming a lot more, I mean, I can't say exclusive, because they weren't doing too much of anything. Like, I was really me, Hollis, Corday. It was a few of us that really walked, and most of them was just sitting there like, yeah, I'm beat. I'm in the Garçon. So I felt like at that point, we were having a house meeting at one point, and I was going through a lot with my mom and being sick and stuff. And like their main argument around that time was just like a bunch of nothing. And it was like, and I'm sitting in the corner like damn near in tears, and no one's paying any attention. They're so fixated on what's going on. And I felt like if it was supposed to be a family, I felt like you guys should see me sitting in the corner like damn near in tears. The only person that really spoke to me at that point was Twiggy. Twiggy was like, come talk to me, what's wrong?
Sweetest person.
So at that point is when I really felt like I didn't want to be there. Like when I was in New York, if I would have stayed in New York, I probably would still be a garçon.
Right, it's a different.
The garçons in New York are so different than the garçons here.
Right, so, and we're speaking up on the LA chapter, which is no disrespect to the LA chapter. We're just keeping it real, that's it, you can't get mad at the truth. And one thing about Jamari, when Jamari walks, when was the last time you lost? Like, he never loses, and he battles everybody and take them out, and he be the only person there, and it'd be like 10 people. You know, back in my day, when there's a lot of Vogue films, that's how it was with me, you know? But it's still like that with you, with the Twister, so, you know, like...
I feel like I have a point to prove.
Yeah, every time. And, you know, so you did 007 for a minute, and then next thing you know, I think you had in your head, you was like, you know what, I have to come up with a plan. And Blahnik came. And now you're the father.
Father Blahnik, yes.
Hello, props.
Thank you.
And yes, and I see a lot of things in your future. I want to know, what inspired you to want to become a father? Like, what popped up in your mind? Because that's a lot of work, like being a father, like, you know, like, and you're not just a trophy father, like you're really getting some things in line, and y'all gonna be surprised. But yes.
It actually took a little persuasion, because after I told myself once I left Garçon, I was no longer going to do house stuff. I was going to walk balls just for the fun of it because it was becoming too much. But I have a lot, well, I don't have a lot. I have a few kids, my personal kids, who really enjoy ballroom, and I want them to understand that ballroom isn't always about politics. It's more so about fun and having this fantasy world. Like, people think they live ballroom. It's not a lifestyle. It's more so just a hobby. You go in, do your thing, and come home. So I felt like being a father, I had the right movement to bring the younger kids that actually want to do house stuff, but like, oh, I don't want to do it because it's always fighting, it's always this, it's always that. I want to get them back to when we were in the boom boom room. I wanted to do that. I want to have that aspect of ballroom. I want them to, if they need to call me at 4 o'clock in the morning and they need to be picked up, or they stuck somewhere and I have to come pick them up, like, I want them to be able to be comfortable to talk to me. Like, I couldn't do that when I was a garçon. I couldn't call my father and be like, Dad, I'm stuck, or Dad, can you do this? Because he was always too busy. It's not like he didn't want to, he was just too busy being
I mean, look at him, honey. I'll be busy if I looked like that too.
No. Stupid. But I felt like me having that position could bring it back. And then also me being a 007, I felt like going to another house wasn't going to make any noise for me.
No.
I felt like it was just going to be the same scenario again. So I felt like if I build my chapter in my house, then I can bring that noise back. I can bring back that sonic boom to the ballroom scene by being a Blahnik. And I felt like right now, the things that I have up my sleeve, as far as like just the kids in my house and like who I'm trying to have as my mother, as my house, like all these things, the people, I don't want people that's been in other houses. That's not my MO. I have 2 or 3 that are, but the rest of them are like newbies. Like, this is fun. They're like, oh my God, I'm excited. I want to walk the ball. I can't wait. I want that. I don't want like, girl, I gotta pay. I don't want to ball. I want them like, yeah, sure. What you want me to do? I'll do it. And I feel like if I have it and I mold it to the right way, everything will be copacetic. It won't be, I don't plan on making them walk balls and missing work. None of that. You don't have to go to every mini ball. If it's like my house is, it's like 3 balls that are mandatory. Regardless of what state you're in, you need to be there. So if they make these 3 balls mandatory, I don't give a care what you walk while you're here. Because I take LA as practice. So anything that you walk here, do not, if you get chopped, pay it. If you don't win, pay it. If you're the final battle and you lose by 1 vote, pay it. shake hands, leave it, come home, we can go party and turn up. Don't
Right.
sit and dwell on something that's not real. This is not your reality. This is for fun.
Extracurricular activity, just like Temple said.
And I want everybody in my house to be able to be molded into that direction. I don't want, of course, you always gotta. I want it to be exclusive. What I'm doing right now is I want my house to be like Noah's Ark. I want two bad bitches of every category.
And that's
so
what
if you don't make it, your brother's gonna make it.
Right,
so,
right.
And I feel like having a whole slew of people that don't do anything or just to make scream. Right. I was a prodigy by myself and made noise from state to state in LA by being here by myself. So I feel like you can make noise without having an entourage.
Right, because, like, I always was taught, because I was an Omni at first, and my father was Taz, and, regardless of the fact, like, he always said, like, regardless of what house you in, like, your talent's going to speak for itself, and that's how I always felt. Like, I felt like you didn't really need a house to do anything, so I'm glad that you're a father. So being that you're a father and now you're a leader, you heard about Battle Night Wednesdays. So you're a part of Battle Night Wednesdays. Battle Night Wednesdays is me, myself, Jamari, and Kizzy Escada, shout out to her, or him. But basically, we get the new community and we teach them how to vogue and how to runway, and we're trying to mold them into something positive, about the whole, like, staying off of drugs and not getting into the prostitution and, staying in school, keeping the job and everything. And with that being said, I want to know, how do you feel about that? Like, do you think it's destroying our community, the drug use and, the prostitution, or how do you feel about that?
I feel like if everyone did it in moderations, it wouldn't be so much chaos. I feel like, I personally feel like at balls, like, I don't think that anyone should be doing any drugs, not because it's bad for you, because you're gonna party if you wanna party, but I feel like it causes the arguments, it causes the fights, it causes all this chaos that you really think like, oh, I was living, but you stoned out your mind looking a fool, and you was like, you get chopped, now you mad.
Right,
I
and
feel
ready
like
to fight.
It like I said, it's the people that overdo it. It's the people that do it to have fun. I feel like it's a leisure thing. If you want to drink, don't drink because you think you're going to have fun. Drink because you want to have a drink.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people do it to be cool or to fit in. Like, oh, here, have a drink, girls. Drink together. It's cute. Yeah, drink. And I feel like I don't really need to. I drink, but I don't drink. I'm selective with liquor, period. All I drink is Ciroc or Patron. And if I don't drink that, I'm not drinking. So I feel like when I go places and people are like, oh, girl, hit the Amsterdam. I'm like, no, I'm cool.
I don't take it. Like,
I just don't like it. It's a headache the next day.
Right, I just think that, with the young people, like, they see people that they look up to. And I have to realize this, me being a leader, a lot of people, I'm Eddie. I'm playing on Eddie, all day, Nietzsche, however you want to say. I got 10 personalities, but a lot of people, when I walk in the room, they're like, that's a Nietzsche. Or like, you walk in the room, that's Ninja. Oh my gosh. So everybody know I have my fight with my drug of choice. Like, I got much better at it, but I'm not going to front because I like to keep it real on Beyond the Runway. But, I had to learn, like, dang, that person's looking at me. Do this. They want to be like a Nietzsche, I'm going to do it. It's cool. And I tell the kids, if you see somebody doing it that you look up to, don't do it. Like, like all these people that you think you look up to, and I tell a lot of people, you looked up to me, but if you really know the things about me and you get the background of me, you're going to be turned off. Like, and I say that to a lot of people. Like, I was like, be yourself. Like, what I'm saying, be your own leader. What I'm saying? Like, don't get into the dress. And people are like, oh, well, you're being a hypocrite. No, I'm not being a hypocrite. I'm just trying to stop you because I know my fight with it. Like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just crazy. Like, I just really want to save this scene, especially in LA. I don't know about anywhere else but in LA because we're one little island. You get what I'm saying? So, other than that, been dancing, you've been voguing, and you also go-go dance, or do you want to say stripping?
I'll say go-go dance.
Okay, go-go dancing,
I haven't really stripped yet.
I'm just tired of going to the club and seeing you naked and I'll be drunk and,
turning you on and stuff.
But yeah, so what made you want to do that? Like, because, my whole thing is that it's so funny. Because some people are like, oh, I strip for a living. It's like with you, it's like not like I don't want to say it's a negative thing, but it don't come off negative. Like, I just want to know why you do that, because I don't know if you do it for the money. Well, of course you do it for the money. Of course. But I'm just saying, but I don't No, it just seems like you're doing it just because you want to do it. I don't know. What?
To be perfectly honest, like, I enjoy dancing. And I feel like everyone has a sexy side. And I feel like that part of me is fulfilled when I go dance. I get to be, like you, I have my personalities too. Yeah. Jamari is the little flirtatious, little boom cat.
Very flirtatious.
So I feel like that is my imaginary space to where I can flirt and not get in trouble for it because it's just work. And and I feel like the reason you feel I'm not the other way is because I don't do it in a raunchy way. I don't do anything to disrespect anyone. I don't do anything, first of all, to disrespect myself or my boyfriend. So I feel like when I dance, I feel that go-go dancing period is eye candy. Your job is to make people want to come to the club. And if I feel like if I want to be a cop that night, I'm going to make me a nice little cute cop outfit and I'm going to be a cute cop and everyone's going to be like,
right, like, oh my gosh, like, okay.
And it's weird because I feel like all my friends that do ballroom and outside ballroom dance community, they come to the club and they're like, yeah, and then they look up and like, oh shit, it's you. Oh my God, here, take this.
Right.
take this.
Right. And now, I mean, you always been in relationships, but this one that you in with Steve, you know, this one, I think this is the keeper one. I don't know, but I mean, y'all seem happy, you know, when you see yourself, you see Steve. How do you think he feel about the situation? Because, I mean, because I know you probably let him know what it was from the beginning because I know you, but how do he feel? Because he just sits back and chill. Like, I would have been right there like, yeah, put that dollar right there. But yeah, okay, because I'm drunk right now and I'm about to, yeah. So how do he feel about that?
I think he's comfortable with it more so because I tell him. Like, and then I tell him, like, I need to get drunk because I need to be able to dance. If I haven't had a drink, I'll just be, you know, mediocre, just hey. But if I'm drunk, I'll make my money because I'm not really caring about anybody there. So I tell him up front, like you said, I tell him everything up front, and he's just a cool dude. Like,
he's cool. He's chill back. He's laid back. I said chill back.
Chill back.
But he's laid back, and I like that. So I want to touch on something. So beyond the stripping thing, you have actually a company that you're trying to get, you know, Twisted Minds.
Yes.
And I want to know, like, tell the people a little bit about Twisted Minds.
Well, Twisted Minds is my dance company that I'm trying to start up. It's kind of, right now, it's all male. It's the crew consists of like hip hop dancing, and it's kind of like the inner me. Like, I am a boy, but I also have my cunt side. So I feel like my dance company is that. It starts off macho, we kill it like boys, and then at the very end we peel off and we vogue down.
Right, so, exactly. And I love that. I love the name. The name is catchy and everything. And then also with the Twisted Mind thing, you have a situation where you're trying to get like 100 blankets or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, tell people about that because I think this is really, really a good idea, and I actually heard you telling somebody about it, and I really, 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 really think that would be good because I kind of live, you know, on Skid Row, and I see these people out there, and you know, it's getting cold, and people need stuff like this. So tell them about that.
So what we're trying to do is start a little, I guess, how do you say, like a showcase where I have a group of friends who are choreographers that I'll want to participate in. We throw a showcase, and like the entry fee for the showcase would be a new blanket and or pillow. I'm also in cahoots right now with Reach LA to get like an overnight care package situation, toothbrush, mouthwash, you know, soap, and if I can, some type of gift card so they can know either like Subway or Target, so they can, you know, go ahead.
They probably can go sell that, but,
but
it's all good.
But it's really just for, my boyfriend actually came up with the idea because we were walking home walking to the bus stop from reach LA, and he was like, I wish I had a blanket to give everybody out here. And I was like, the only way I could try to make his dream come true was to do the event. And I felt like by him saying that, it came to reality, and now it's in motion to where we can do that. So we're going to have this show, and then the next day, whoever wants to participate or just come out, we come out and pass the blankets out the next day to the homeless people.
Yes, well, I'm definitely going to support that, and that's so funny how God speaks through people, and that's really, really good. Like, that's really, really good. So I just want to ask you one more question, and I just want, because a lot of people, they go through a lot besides Beyond the Runway. When the balls are over, they have to go home and deal with bullshit or like emotional stuff. And I know at a time, you know, because you're my friend, at a time, I know your mom was sick, you know, and like you said, you was dealing with a lot. But you always kept a smile. I never seen you really in no drama. I never seen you fight, like nothing. Like, you always happy. Do you have any advice for everybody out there that is going through something when their mom is sick and they're trying to still be a part of this ballroom scene or dance or make their money or, you know, hustle or anything? What is your advice to keep their head up?
Only thing I can say is just like, leave it in God's hands. Like, people that try to control things end up controlling themselves, and it makes them like drawn and just stressed out over a lot of things that you really have no control over. So I feel like the best thing to do is, it's really harsh to say, but just say, fuck it. Just say, let it go, because I feel like at that time when my mom was sick, I was living in New York.
Yeah,
so
I remember.
When I found out that she was having her triple bypass, it was like, what do I do with my stuff? What do I do with my stuff? And I just was like, all right, I'm gonna go back to LA. Like, y'all do what y'all want with this. And I felt like that was easier for me than trying to figure out what I was gonna do and how I was gonna do this. I asked my bro, like, hey, you need a place to stay, you can move in, do this, do that, and then I'm gonna go back to LA and take care of my mom. And I feel like even with her being better now, it's still stuff because she's back smoking and she's back addicted to going to the casino and stuff like that. So it's just a mesh of stuff that even like my boyfriend dealing with his family and them not knowing that he's gay. It's just, I am bombarded with things on a day-to-day basis. You know, our car, we got into an accident.
Right, that's crazy.
It was just so much, and I just feel like I've learned that you can't control anything. So I feel like everyone says, you know, just leave it in God's hand and it'll happen. And I feel like the more I just let go of things, the easier it is for me, because you tend to stress out and it makes matters worse. So I am just nonchalant about everything. I just don't care. Like, I care, but it's to the point where I'm just like, oh, we got into a car accident. Okay, at that point I'm like, God damn. Then I was like, you know what?
But I'm alive and I'm breathing.
We'll fix it.
Yeah, I'm alive and I'm breathing, and I appreciate life. Thank you for coming on the show, Jamari.
You're welcome.
I really, really appreciate you being open with me. And you
no
know,
problem.
Good.
Good being
Come
here.
back. Then remember, everything goes beyond the runway.
Every time they see me,